What's up, y'all? It's Amber's Closet, and today is my coming out story. So I'm out of the motherfucking closet. Even though we're in Amber's Closet, I'm about to come out of the closet and tell you guys my coming out story. It's a little drawn out. I mean, not really drawn out. I mean, it just took me longer than most, I think, to really just come out of the closet completely. And maybe I'm not even completely out. Sometimes it's just none of anybody's motherfucking business to know my shit, and that's how I feel. Anyway, I'm gonna start by first telling you guys like my first actual experience because I started, kind of having girl and girl experiences at a very young age, and I would say my first one was when I was 9. And back then, you never really know. It's kind of like it happens, like I was playing house, like I said on, your gay win, and like kind of little some stuff happened, whatever. It's like my first little kind of like girl experience, but at the same time, I was still into boys, like I dated boys. I had a lot of boyfriends when at a young age. I said I was a hoe. I was a little hoe. Like I just loved collecting boys. I had a bunch of them as boyfriends, you know what I'm saying? Like growing up, whatever. So that's just how it was. So my first experience was when I was 9, but I didn't really understand it, and like I said, I had crushes on my babysitters growing up, whatever, whatever. I didn't really get it until high school. And in high school, I just really, what happened was I became really close with one of my best friends who I looked up to because she was a little older than me or whatever. And then, long story short, one night we were hanging out, we got to kissing, whatever. And it just was kind of better than I was getting from the boys I was dating. And I was just like really comfortable with her. Like, and I think it was also she was my best friend. And so it made it, and then I looked up to her. So it made it a little easier. But the connection emotionally was just a lot different than what I was feeling when I was like dating boys. The other thing I noticed is that I was really comfortable with her just in like in kind of like a dating environment. Like I was just always uncomfortable when it came to boys, and I don't know, I didn't really want to get that close, and with her it was just like an automatic. It was just like you kind of just it was easy for me to kind of ease in and feel comfortable and want to get closer to her than I already was. Okay, so that experience happened freshman, sophomore year of high school. And then after that, it was kind of like I realized I did like girls, but at the same time, I was so scared to be the stereotype of the girl that plays basketball that's gay. And I want to say that like I heard it like almost every other day of my life because I was kind of like I was kind of basically a standout basketball player, with in high school as well as like on my traveling teams and things like that. And every time you play basketball, that's the first thing I feel like every guy would say to me. Like they would meet me and be like, "Oh, you play basketball? Aren't every basketball girl's gay?" Like they would always say that, and I tried so hard not to be that. You know what I'm saying? Like my dad always like raised me like if you want to be as good as Lisa Leslie, you need to eat all these steaks, and if you want to be as good as such and such. And I just did not want to be that stereotype that came with girls basketball. So I was always fighting that. I'm like, well, I feel comfortable with this, but at the same time, I don't want to be that stereotype. I don't want to be that girl that, I don't want to go from like whatever my popularity level is to because people are going to be like, "Oh gosh, she's gay. Put her in that, put her in that area, whatever." I feel was fighting a lot of stuff. And it wasn't just that I was like scared for people to know I was gay, but it was going to change a lot of stuff. Like I said, I went to a private school. I went to, a Christian school. So there's one. I was captain of my basketball team. There's two. The fact that I was going to fall into the stereotype of being a gay basketball player. There's three. The fact that I was a vice president and president of like a bunch of clubs at my school and a lot of people look up to me. There's 4 and 5. And then the fact that I was part of the anti-defamation league in high school, which I went to different schools and spoke to children. So there's 6. There's so many reasons why I had so many different people looking up to me for so many reasons that I was like scared and nervous to let people down. Like, you know what I mean? And at the time when you're young, you don't realize how much power you can get by just being like, I don't care what anybody says, this is what I am. But at the time, I just felt like so much pressure from so many different angles of having to be the standout student, having to be this president, having to be the captain, having to be, a student, and having to try to be as good as I can be on the basketball court to get a scholarship that I was constantly fighting all of those things like to be the person that I wanted to be. And I didn't know at the time that I can be it all. I can fucking do it all and still be who I am and be accepted. Because at the time in high school, it's not as easy as when you're in college. In high school, you're like, it's like you're in this box and you don't have freedom. When you go to college, you're able to express yourself and have freedom and do whatever you want to do. So that's basically what happened. I didn't really, I like started to, kind of mess around with girls, and really it had to do with like my basketball teams. When we traveled, when we went to basketball teams, it was kind of like, it was kind of normal around your basketball team. You're close knit. It was kind of normal to have crushes and kind of like, date girls and everything. But as separate than that, anybody at school, anybody else outside of my little basketball group did not know that side of me. You know what I'm saying? Except for my sister. My sister always had ideas. You know what I'm saying? She probably caught me before I realized I was caught, but other than that, like, I just kept to myself. Now, in college, my freshman year, I dated the last boy that I ever took seriously. And after it didn't work out with him and I was like, if it doesn't work out with me and him, like, it's never gonna work out for guys. That's when I realized it's over for me with guys. And plus, even though he was the closest I got to like a boyfriend, like we had the deepest connection, I still was not comfortable sexually. Like, I've never been comfortable sexually with boys, and I've never had sex with boys. I am a virgin. Throw that B up. I know my finger's messed up. Don't look at it. I'm a virgin. Yes, I'm getting very technical and very honest with you guys, but that's how I say it. I'm a gold star lesbian, whatever. Just and people were like, "How did you have so many boyfriends and date all these guys of like status and not do that?" But my thing is, I think that's what attracted them. Because my thing, like, I treated them kind of like crap. Like, I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care if you're the, like, star in the NBA, or I don't care any of that. Like, I was just like, whatever, you're crap. You know what I'm saying? Like, I treated everybody the same. And I think that was weird for guys, especially when I came to LA and Hollywood, for guys to be famous and have money and for me to treat them like they were nothing. And I think that attracted them more to pushing themselves to me. But the more I'm like, you're not having sex with me, the more I think guys liked it. But anyways, at the end of the day, I realized I'm just not supposed to date guys. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, that was the last, freshman year was the last time I dated a boy, seriously. And then after that, it was pretty much girls. So, my best friend from high school, we used to play basketball together, and, her and we got closer and closer, and like kind of one drunk night, whatever, we got together, and she ended up to be my first real girlfriend, in college. And like, and basically she was my first real girlfriend, and our connection was so crazy because she was my best friend, and I always thought she was gorgeous and whatever, and right away I fell in love like crazy. So that was my first real relationship, but I feel like that was the first time I really experienced being in love, and like, it was crazy. So that went on for a few years, and when I got with her is when I decided this is when everybody needs to know, because obviously I was taking somebody serious and I was in a serious relationship with her, and I felt like the people that were, most important to me in my life needed to know that. So that's when I started to come out to all my friends and tell them. And it wasn't just like, hey, guess what, I'm gay. It was, I'm gay and this is my girlfriend. They already know her because she was my best friend, so she was around, you know what I'm saying? So everybody know her. So it was kind of like, I guess maybe that was a cushion to be like, all right, well, I'm dating girls, guys, and then here she is, and they already loved her and accepted us. Like, it was just really easy. Most of my friends were like just took it like, okay, and do you have anything else to tell me? You know what I'm saying? And then the rest of them were like, oh my God, I love it. It's amazing. Like, they just felt like it fit me really well with how my personality is of being the man anyway. You know what I'm saying? So they really felt like it fit me. And I was all scared, like, before I told most of my friends and my family or whatever, like, I was like scared to tell them. So I told them that I had cancer, and then it was like, okay, I'm just joking, I'm gay, to make it a little easier. I know that's not funny, but I thought it would make it easier to tell them something fucking dramatic and just be like, okay, no, I'm just gay. You know what I'm saying? And then it made it a little easier, I felt like, anyway. But they went from crying to punching me in the face to be like, okay, well, that wasn't that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. That's just how I felt like I should handle this situation at the time. Now, looking back at it, I'm like, my ass is fucking dumb. But at the end of the day, what I realized as being able to be this person and being in my first real relationship, whatever, I realized that I am more comfortable with girls, obviously sexually as well as emotionally. It's just easier. The connection was just automatic, and it was just too hard to try to create that shit when I was dating boys. So it just, you know, it took me some time, but I got there. But I would say that her and when my first real love, whatever, it didn't work out with us, and it was dramatic for me because when we did break up, obviously I was still in love, but and it broke my heart, like shattered me, changed me completely. But the hardest thing was losing. It's hard losing your best friend at the same time, like I literally felt like we had to split our lives in half and our friends had to choose a side because it was just bad. So we just moved on hella quick and my ass was over there fucking stuck on her still. So it sucked. And I felt all the way to the bottom, felt like the ugliest person ever, but I climbed back. And I think from that situation of like, trying to climb back and getting out there and my friends trying to put me out there and, being single me and going to the club and stuff, I really started to develop, okay, cool, like I actually like this type of girl, or I am this type of person. And that's really when I started to really be like, look, I'm a STEM, because I don't like how I can't be all the way girly and I can't be all the way boyish. Like I like to be in the middle, and that's when I really started like to develop the name of it and be like, hey, you guys, like, nah, like, can we call me a STEM? And everybody started laughing because I put the names together or whatever, because I literally liked to still look girly and, sack my pants or whatever. Like, or sometimes I would go and be really girly with like my boobs out. And sometimes the next time I would be all the way like a boy, but I liked being that overall. But I learned really quickly, like how I dressed at the club and how I started to change up would be the determining if I got the attention of the type of girls that I liked. So I really noticed that when I'm a girl, the girly girls that I walk up to just look at me like, boo, you know what I'm saying? But when I started to like sag a little bit, the girls that I was attracted to, the girly girls, the femmes, were the ones kind of looking at me like, hey, come over here, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how I came into my own, and that's how I really realized, okay, I like this type of girl. I mean, I guess also being in LA, our gay lifestyle out here is amazing. It's crazy. It's huge. So I guess I had the upper hand and like really coming into myself a little easier than most people maybe in that don't have that community like we do here. Because if nobody knows, West Hollywood out here is gay town. Like you go and there's rainbows on every store and there's rainbows in the crosswalk and everywhere, because we're just like accepting. There's so many people of power out here that are gay, and it's accepted, everywhere. So it's just easier, and it was probably easy for me to just really just be like, hey, what's up, I'm gay, everybody, and be that out here. And so it's really cool. Most of my family do know. My mom was completely happy about it, and she was happy as long as I'm happy, and she loves it, and she's like the coolest person to talk to about it. Obviously my sister's all up in my mix. A lot of my family's members do know, and like some of them we just don't talk about it. I'm still like, if they are, not really that comfortable with it, we don't have to talk about it, because at the end of the day, gay doesn't define me as a person. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people use that as a definition to describe themselves, but I don't, because I'm a lot of other things besides being a lesbian. You know what I'm saying? I'm an athlete. I'm a person with 2 degrees. Like I have, a company that I can talk about. I have all these projects that I'm working on. There's a lot of stuff that describes me other than, hey, I'm a lesbo, I date this girl, whatever. And I like to use that, but it's also a great like addition to my life, and I think it's cool, and I think it makes me unique. And I think everybody's unique in their own ways, like, so it's cool. And I think that I'm really blessed to have, the people in my life that love it and accept it and are down for me no matter what. You know what I'm saying? That's always great. So if you guys have any questions, or like if you're not sure about situations, you can comment at the bottom or inbox me, and I'll try to help out as much as I can. My situation was a little different because a lot of my friends actually came out, like they were like, oh, I've been out since I was in 6th grade, or a lot younger than I was, and came into their own. And I give so like people props that they can really do that, because in my case, I was fighting a lot of battles, of, not wanting to be the stereotype, because I always had eyes on me at all times. So it was a little harder for me. And I really applaud those that can just really just stand the fuck up and just be like, fuck everybody. I'm gay as fuck, and this is how I am. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, Let me know what you guys think, and let me know if you guys have any questions, and a new video coming soon. Feel me? Love y'all.